Well, good morning and welcome to another episode of my Day Ticket Diary. Today you join me on Sunday the 3rd of June and once again I'm down at Fisherwick Lakes. Now I'm only on for the day session today, and because the specimen lake's a little bit busy, I've decided and opted to move on to one of the other lakes on the complex, which is Dave's Lake. Now this is another lake that holds a good head of fish, right from singles all the way to just over £20. So this is where I've plotted up for the day, and then hopefully I can get into a few fish out of here. Because I've paid for a specimen ticket, I've got the option of moving a little bit later on when a few anglers push off, being Sunday. So I'm fishing off the barra. I'll be able to up sticks and move on to them a bit later on. But for now, like I say, I'm fishing this lake. I did fish the specimen lake last week on a day ticket, and after moving from the lodge swim, I've seen a few fish showing off the point. An angler come out of there, I opted to go in, and I was seeing fish down to my right hand side. I put a rod out on them, and probably after 10 minutes I had my first take. Lost that and put the rod back out as you do, and I lost that one as well. And just as I was scratching my head and looking like I was going to go on blanking, I got all the rods on the deck at last knockings, rock on the clutch, and the clutch started to tick off. Picked up into that and ended up with a £19 grass sea. I'll show you the video of the footage of the fish, and if I look a little bit out of breath, that's because in true grassy style they come in like a sack of spuds and decided to beat me up on the mat. So before I took this little bit of footage, I got beat up, so that's why I'm out of breath. Like I say, I'm only on for the day and fishing off the barra, so hopefully I can get into a few fish out of here first before moving on to the specimen lake. So I'm going to have a brew, and I'll pick up the camera a little bit later. Just to note, when I did come on to the complex this morning and just walked around here, there's a few fish showing out, well, fizzing. It's about 10 yards out, so I've just flicked a few rods out there now. They're still fizzing, but they're a little bit at the back end of my spot. Maybe when I put the camera down, keep a little bit quiet, they'll be able to wander back onto my baited areas. Not put a lot of bait out, just fishing sweet corn, that's all, and a little bit of chopped up boilie. So that's the option. So until later, I'm going to get that brew on, and I'll speak to you shortly. Through bait and bait application and what I'm actually putting out in the swim. I've just recast my left hand rod, and I've just seen some out at about 10 wraps, so I've just clipped it up to 10 wraps and just clipped up with spod rod, and I've just put this out. Now, as I said previously, I'm just fishing with sweet corn today and a few chopped boilies and different stuff, which is correct, but I'm doing something a little bit different with the sweet corn. I've got a little bit of chopped boilie in there, that's a bit of cell, and that's been in these liquids now for a couple of days, and I've got a little bit of hemp, just to give it a little bit of a fleck of colour on the bottom of the lake. But what I'm doing different, a lot of people don't seem to do this, is regarding fermenting your sweet corn. Now, very rarely that I'll go into a shop, rip open the bag and then stick it into a spod mix. I like to leave it for a couple of days sweating, and what happens is that breaks down and it starts to give off the natural sugars then, and they start to sweat. Now that sweat is where it's fermenting, and that is absolutely awesome carp bait. So if you're looking to just give your sweet corns a little bit of a boost, get them out of the freezer when they come, open up the bag, put them in a little bucket, and just leave them out in the daylight for at least 2 days. I would do it 2 days before you go, and then by the time you're out on the bank, they're just starting to ferment. So you'll just get them at the right time. You don't want them to go white. You just want them to sweat, and then they'll just give off like a. I'll just see if I can show you. They'll just give off their own liquid, and that's obviously what I've been soaking the boilies in. So that gives off a lot of natural attraction into the water. So that's what I'm putting out. I've just got to wait for a bite now. So until later, when I'll show you the rigs that I'm using, I'll speak to you shortly. Well, there's my first fish. Well, as you've seen with that fight, it's the first fish. Nice little mirror, not going to weigh her. Right, first fish of the day. As I said, there was fishing out in front of here when I come on. Put a rod on there. It's probably been out there an hour, and it's just ripped off with this stunning mirror. Now, like most run waters, they usually ain't got a gob, but this one's pristine. I hope a few are like this. Nothing worse than coming to a lake with fish full of smashed up mouths. This one's perfect. So if we get a few more like that today, I'll be more than pleased. Right, let's get her back and get these rods back out on the spot. Well, you joined me at 11:30. Unfortunately, it's been a few hours since I've last picked up that fish, and I really do feel with the stock levels in this lake that if there was here, I'd be picking them up, but I've not. So I'm going to have a little bit of a reeling and a little bit of a recce around the other lakes. Been seeing a lot of fish just in open water down to my left hand side. The ones that I've seen here have really been just a couple of inches off under the surface, just enjoying the rays. I did put a zig out to them, and the zig's out now, but unfortunately it's nothing's come to it. But so that option is I'm going to go and have a look around the specimen lake and see if there's anywhere I can move on to them, or see if I can see any fish showing for a bit later on. There is that option that I can move down to the left hand side, that I can fish into the open water where I've been seeing them fish. But for now I'm just going to have a little recce around lakes and have an hour and just see what's happening. So until later, I'm going to get these rods in and I'm going to go look. Talking quiet as I'm down on the one of the other specimen lakes here. You can see this, but there's fish here, and remember me talking about the stalking, where you see that the vortexes under the water. You can just see them. That's where patterns are, where the fish are just got their heads down and tails up. Just here. So this might be an option to move on to. There's definitely fish in the area. Yeah, it's just down here. Let's see if we can get it on camera. Had a little bit of a walk around. As you've seen, I've seen a few on the specimen water at the back called Wadies. That's what I think I'm going to head off for next, and just do a couple of hours in there with the chance of moving a bit later on. But like I say, it's nice just to have a wander around, and I'm glad I paid the extra for the ticket. So let's get off to this other lake and put a couple of rods in there with the hope of catching a fish. Speak to you shortly. Well, you joined me on the specimen lake. I was going to fish Wadies, which is directly behind this swim, but by the time I got my gear together, packed up and moved off over there, the fishery manager's doing a little bit of swim maintenance down to the left hand side, so there's a little bit more noise than I wanted to, so I decided not to fish there. I come down onto this bank, walked along here and seen a fish show out at about 10 yards. So that was enough for me to jump in here. I've just clipped a rig on, little snowman rig, and I've just cast it out onto where I've seen that fish. Went down to about 10 foot with a nice solid donk, and that's where I've left it. I've put about 5 or 6 baits, just throwing them out over the top of it. And the left hand rod I've just put out onto the margin outside the cabin swim to the left hand side. So that's where I am at the moment. I'm sitting back behind my rod stem at the back of the swim, because anybody knows with a spit and the way it's built up, if I make too much noise on the end of that spit, that noise will amplify out into the lake. Because I'm fishing just close in, I really do not want to make any noise in front of you. I want to be able for the fish just to move in and out without hearing any disturbance. So that's where I am at the moment, and apparently the guy's going to be moving out the big point in probably about an hour and a half's time. And I've seen a few fish to his right hand side, and good fish at that. So if there may be a possibility that I'll move over there in the next hour. So for now I've just plopped these rods out and I'm fishing. So until later I'm going to have myself get the kettle on, have a brew, and wait for either the move or the fish. Speak to you shortly. See, I've once again moved. This is my third swim, and I was in there, the guy come out and a fish showed once again over that marginal area. So I decided just to pick my rods up and walk 2 swims down. Now I'm just going to show you the rig that I'm going to be throwing out, and this will probably stop out now until it gets a take. This is a spinner rig with a fluorocarbon hook link. Now, like fluorocarbon, not only is it invisible, but it's just enough, it's £15 by the way, fluorocarbon, just to push this out. Once it hits the floor of the lake bed, it'll just waft out and obviously keep this presented away from the lead. Now, as soon as the fish picks up that, it's connected to this lead quicker than it would do with a soft hook link. Now obviously that'll aid with hooking. Now something I look to ferment my sweet corn to get the best natural attractions out of it. Not only does it give off natural salts, it also gives off a natural sweetness, and because of that it actually sweats and gives off its own glug. So what I do is just use that and just dump my lead, everything in there, just into the juices. Now that's ready to go out, and there is no finer glug available than that. Right, let's get this out and let's get fishing. As ever, let's get this out. while I'm waiting for this storm just to blow over and this rain just to die down, I thought I'd let you know about a new group that we've just started. Now, with the success and the popularity of West Midlands Carpers, and this being regional and only really open to West Midlands anglers, we wanted to open something up nationally to the UK on a whole. So we come up with the concept and the name of Chasing Chunks, and this group is now active and also live with over 300 members. So I'll put the link to the group in the description below. If you just click on that, press join, and you'll be in the group and enjoying the content from the group. Now, if you've seen any of my other videos from West Midlands Carpers, if you've got a capture, just put it in the post, and I will put it on editing software and put a montage together every month of your captures, put it on YouTube for you to enjoy and for everybody else to look in and see what we're capturing over there at Chasing Chunks. So yeah, click on the link, get joined, and join us over at Chasing Chunks. I'm just having a little bit of a rig change. Last time I was here, I kept seeing the fish come out mid-water in the same place over and over again. I've sat here today and it still keeps coming out on the same area, so that's a week after and it's just showing up on the area. Now, I did put a rod over there last time and it was around about 35 foot. There's a deep hole just out here and it's just inside it, so I very much doubt you can present a bait at the bottom of that, but I don't really think that they're feeding down there. I do actually think that they're up in the layers. So what I've opted for is a Nash adjustable float for zig float, just a small lead, and then that's on a 2.5 foot hook link and a zig liner again, with a yellow flash of colour on it because the water's a little bit coloured. So obviously that'll show up both from the top and below, and then that's followed off by a little bit of black zig foam. Now again, I've put this in the natural glug, and I'm just going to put it out on that spot where I keep seeing the fish. I'm just going to pull it up and probably just sit it probably about a foot underneath the surface. Right, let's get this rod out. Right, that's just about a foot underneath the surface. Sorry about the noise. I've left my receiver on. But just a little note about these adjustable zig floats. Now, obviously, with the normal leg clip system and putting out a zig, you cast into your area, and just before it hits the water, you stop the line, and then that's to allow the hook link just to fly out and stop it from tangling. Now, it's quite the opposite with these Nash adjustable zig floats. I found the best way what to do is to cast it in, and when it hits the water, just let the line peel off. Don't stop it, just let it just bash into the water and let it sink. And then what that'll do then is just allow this to free fall at the back end of the zig, and then allow the zig just to fall down to the depths. This will allow then for a free movement, and what happens if you do really stop it, it all comes together like this, and then this is where tangles come up. So that's my little bit of advice for you, if you're using adjustable zig floats, is just to let them just go and you'll get a better ratio of it presenting better. You join me at 4 o'clock and all's quiet at the moment. The guys out the double swim are just about to leave, so that'll give me the whole lake to myself. Now that can only be an advantage to me because of angling pressure. Now angling pressure is one of the biggest keys why you don't catch. Never mind your rigs, never mind rig placements. If them fish know that they're angled for and you've got a busy lake with a lot of lines in, I can guarantee them fish will move off you. So it's not until like Sundays or last knockings, you've seen it on most day ticket lakes, that the fish will start to drift back into the areas and start feeling confident to feed. Once the lake's full, then fish really know they're being angled for and they're a bit more wary to pick up a bait. Now, just talking about me being active, I've just thrown out that zig as you've just seen. Now this is me keeping an eye on the lake, trying different things and just doing what the fish are trying to tell me what to do. I've seen that fish show, and I know from putting the line out, lead out there, that it's like 35 foot deep. Now they're not going to be troughing around up there and then coming straight up. It's not going to happen. Them fish are going to be mid layers or top layers, and that's why they're showing. They're not feeding in that really deep silt. I don't think they are anyway. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just keeping active, trying different things, and I always believe in effort equals reward. So until later, and I really need that fish on bank. I'll speak to you soon. Well, as you can see, the barrow's loaded and the only thing left to put on now are my rods. Unfortunately, it's time to bring the video blog to an end, but I've had a great day once again down here at Fisherwick Lakes. I managed to catch, so I'm not going home blanking. Just enjoyed today, just doing what I like doing, which is fishing off the barrow, roaming around and just putting rods on fish. Unfortunately, the bites haven't come today, but thankfully I've had a good day, and that's all you can ask for, isn't it? Hopefully you can take something away from this video, and just showed you a few little bits and rigs and what I do on day sessions, and hopefully you can put it into your fishing and take something away from this video. But if not, hopefully you've enjoyed watching it, if nothing else. Don't forget to like and subscribe my channel, and I'll put a link at the bottom of the description for Hooked, Line and Sinker, which is my Facebook page, for the latest news and updates on what I'm doing. Once again, I'd like to thank Fisherwick Lakes for having me down here and letting me film. So for the last time down here at Fisherwick Lakes for a while, wet nets, tight lines, and I'll see you on my next video.